Hey peeps, Spencer Smoot here, Unsolicited QA. Well, I wanted to do a video on loot, and they have a video on loot. I don't think I did this. Yeah, I definitely did not do this one because I wasn't back yet. But I'm gonna, I want to talk about the loot, and it's because it's coming up the next 3.15 iteration, I think, and it's extremely important. So I was gonna, like, why not? So let's do it. Here we go.
For me, when it comes to exploring areas in a game, I tend to prefer when I've earned something.
So when you've had to fight to get past some people to get somewhere, you expect there to be something cool to find, something to make it worthwhile.
There are just some things that you just don't go and buy in a store, things that you have to go out and find. That's, I feel, one of the most important aspects of gaming.
So great.
I've often found that if there's no tangible reward, whether it's something that you bring away from there or something that you find that maybe leads to something else to discover, that something can be lost in the experience of exploration.
Imagine you go into some dungeon you're excited to explore, and there's NPCs there just kind of standing around, but there's nothing to find. There's crates, but they're empty. There's storage with nothing in it. Not only is it disappointing from a gameplay perspective, you don't get any of the cool loot you were hoping for, but it just doesn't make sense. What were all these people doing there with no food, no supplies, nothing? You want there to be something amazing at the end. So we're working on this new system called Loot Generation.
We have built this system on the foundation of the harvestable system,
which is going to empower our designers to set up locations all across the verse to be filled with dynamically generated loot.
They function using a system we've called loot archetypes, which are on-the-fly generated sets of tags.
So the idea is that a designer can lay out a list of tags that they want items in the loot pool to match, and then maybe some that they don't. So you can say, I want things that are tagged with weapon, but not things that are tagged with ammunition.
Crap. Okay, sorry. Got attacked by a bug. First of all, first I want to, if you're getting in game design game development wise, one of the best positions to really get a job with is tool creation, right? Like this guy creating something like this and creating a tool like this, it's very highly sought after, right? There's certain things like tech artist is also extremely popular, or not popular, extremely desirable, right? So if you are a game designer and you're looking to get work and stuff like that, and you don't mind, and you're good at making tools, go for it, and build up some tools, and because I mean, every game creates its own tools in a way, right? Not every game, but every big AAA game create their own tools, modify the engine, and all that stuff. But that's another discussion. I just wanted to throw it out there.
And then what really makes it powerful is it's not just a uniform distribution of, okay, we have all of these potential items, just pick one at random. When the designers are specifying tags to use, they can assign a weight to each one and say, I want rifles with a weight of 5, and I want pistols with a weight of 10. So you're twice as likely to get a pistol in this crate.
So we have full control over how many items spawn, what specifically spawns. We could even, if we wanted to, and I've actually been doing the tagging for this myself, we could actually tell a loot archetype, hey, spawn me a bunch of armor that's red. Your loot archetype could have the weapon.fps.rifle tag as an example, and that would then give you the option of all of the weapons that spawn underneath that, or that are populated underneath that tag structure. And you may then have armor.fps.heavy, which would give you all of the selection of the heavy armors under that. And then it could be gadget.medkit. So you would then have a loot archetype that says, give me any rifle or any heavy piece of armor or any medkit. It's been a lot of work to get it working that way, but all of it sort of works in conjunction with each other, and with some of the future stuff coming down the pipe as well, such as Quanta. The loot generation system actually will read from the parent object containers that we use in the game at the moment. So, say you're spawning containers on Hurston. Your main object container would be Hurston. And then let's say you've got Lorville, which would be L19. And then inside that you might have, let's say that we expand the city and there's like an abandoned hovel underneath that's maybe occupied by pirates. If Quanta decides, oh, okay, so authorities came, cleared that place out, that place is now no longer a pirate base, it's now storage site for Hurston Dynamics, then all of the containers in that area then might switch to be containing Hurston equipment. Quanta can then determine way up the chain, way at the top, this is how things are now happening because AI has moved in, things have happened, things have changed, and the archetypes and the loot generation system reacts on the fly to that. So if Quanta was to decide this planet has been raided, it's been full of conflict, there's been wars here, like people are leaving in droves because it's not safe to be here anymore, the status of that planet, the richness of that planet lowers as well, to the point where then the loot generation system says, okay, where most of these containers might have been 50 to 60% full as they were, now we're only going to fill them up to like 20 to 30%. It's all about adapting on the fly to where you're at, what you're doing, and seeing what can be.
Yeah, it's amazing. Quanta, that system that's coming out, like, is... I call it, like, the game, right? Like, it is so... It's freaking bug flying. It is... Like, there's... It's just kind of like the core, right? It's the core of what makes Star Citizen, in my opinion. Of, like, the world changing, and it's so interesting. It's like the stuff... I love this type of stuff. It's like the world changing, and it's in a simulation, right? And we're getting inputs from players, right? And then, like, you know, stuff just changes in ways of which, like, it would really in real life, right? In the way that it can. And it's so interesting, it's so cool that they're able to do this, right? Because it doesn't create a static, like, it doesn't create a static world and universe, right? It creates something that's ever changing, and that's important. It's important for Star Citizen, but also it's important for, like, I think the next level of games, the next level of, like, MMOs, need a non-static, changing, like, system, in my opinion, because, you know, we've had the WoW, right? And WoW is static, right? UO, Ultima Online, which I played, is static. EVE Online is fairly static. They created more dynamicness later on, right? It gave more players, you know, more ability, but, like, it's, you know, in the 0-0 space and stuff, it's pretty dynamic because it is whoever owns the area. That's, like, okay, whatever. Yeah, so, and it's super cool, and I can't wait to see it, like, come in, and, like, how much it changes everything, because it's going to, like, it's, like, gonna create stuff to do, right? And that's one of the biggest things that Star Citizen lacks right now, is, like actual stuff, like, to do, right? Like, you know, there's, like, okay, I can go mine, I can go, you know, fight or bounty hunt and stuff, but stuff doesn't matter, right? And that's what, like, I used to play Elite Dangerous, and that's what Elite Dangerous, and why I didn't really like Elite that much, because, like, I forget whatever system they are, but they have, like, a faction system that they, like, fought each other and stuff like that. and I was like, cool, let me, sit in this system and like fight for one side and push this side over to this other faction, right? Because I think it'll be cool. It shows that I can impact the game, and it just wasn't able to do that in the game. Like, it wasn't able to really like transfer, at least like in a reasonable amount, right? Like, I would have to play it like a lot, and also the transfer wouldn't really do anything, right? And what it sounds like here is that they're creating ways of which like this world can change on its own, right? And like security, like they said, security forces coming in and clearing out like a smuggler den, right? And then it changes, right? And showing this stuff and showing like this change able to happen, and with this loot system, right? I wouldn't be surprised if they expand this to be able to change things on the outside too, right? And stuff like that. So it's just super interesting.
So where we're at right now is we've got a pretty solid base for internal testing. We're trying out marking up a few different locations with some containers, mainly filled with weapons and armor at the moment, but we're hoping to expand that to other items in the future.
And we hope that it provides an immersive experience more than anything else, that people can get excited about this sort of thing, that they know that when they go to a planet once, they might go back a few weeks later and it's just completely different.
Loot is an essential part of any MMO, and when it arrives later this year, it'll be one more step towards fulfilling the exploration-based promise of Star Citizen's persistent universe. But up next, we've got a special, oops, it's all VFX edition of the Sprint Report.
Okay, so I'm not going to do the Sprint Report, but, like, let's talk about loot. So I don't think that they're going to tackle loot like other games are tackling loot. Meaning, having, like, super rare, right? I haven't really seen it, and I could be completely wrong, and let me know if not, but, like, there might be like super rare components, right? But it's not going to be like purples, right? Like you have a, let's say AR-15. I don't really remember any of the guns in game. You have like an AR-15, and like it's not going to be purple, from my understanding. Like there's no ranking in each gun category, or gun itself, sorry. Hit this. There's no ranking in guns itself, so like you don't have a better AR-15 than like other AR-15s, right? There is like degradation of items, and that's going to come in, and that could be something like you get a really like pristine fresh gun, but it's not necessarily going to be like, oh, you get a purple or blue or yellow or whatever like ranking system that you've played with before, right? Like, and I don't think they're randomized stats. I think they're going to be the same stats across the board. It just doesn't. It hasn't seemed like they are things that are. It doesn't seem like they're putting that stuff in, right? What I think they're going to do is create rare components to stuff, right? And maybe a rare gun, right? But it's not going to be like, it's a different thing, because like that gun is the same across the board for everything, right? So I hope I'm explaining this correctly, but like, the AR is the AR is the AR, and then this rare gun might be really cool, and it's going to be, like say AK-47, whatever. Is the AK-47 this AK-47, right? Like, and the AK-47 could be rare in this universe, right? And so that's what I think is going to happen. Or they give like attachments that are rare, right? And they're good, and there might be some. I don't think there's going to be randomization of stats, though. I think they're just going to have certain stats and certain stuff. I could be completely wrong. Sorry, I'm hitting that too much. I could be completely wrong, and correct me if I am. So like expectations of the loot system, I don't think it's not a looter shooter, right? It's not a, it's just kind of like coming in at this level. So fighting rare, freaking mining like attachment or something like that type of stuff. And that's what my thought is with loot, right? And I don't know if I'm right. If I'm wrong, let me know. It just doesn't seem like that's what the direction that they're heading, right? Yeah, and yeah, I think that's it. I think that's all I wanted to say about that. But it's super cool to see this system, and now that it's going to be in, like 3.15 is a huge one, right? Because loot also, right? Loot also is about, it's the, what's that called? The physicalized inventory, right? Like you can't carry that much stuff with you, which is important to really understand and get, right? And it kind of just changes. The 3.15 patch just changes the game completely in a way, right? Like it's still the same, right? But it's gonna change the game. I feel like I want to say something else, but I don't remember. So yeah, that's my thought with it. Let me know what you guys think. Oh, actually, hold on. Let me look at this. Yeah. Okay. First person shooter type lights, right? So that's armor, that's light, right? I don't see any like rarity stuff. I can kind of probably comb through this stuff, but yeah. It just anyway. Thanks for watching. See you guys on the next one. Let me know what you think. Let me know if I'm wrong. I'm always willing to be corrected and stuff. And yeah, thanks for watching. Have a good day. Bye.